The boy who wanted to burn England clean, the monstrous reign of Edward VI. He was only 9 when he took the throne, too young for war, too young for love, but not too young to kill. He smiled when he signed death warrants. He studied torture instead of toys. And in the final days of his short life, this dying child king made a list, not of friends or regrets, but of Catholics to burn. This is not the story of an innocent prince stolen by sickness. This is the story of how England was ruled by a child psychopath. His name was Edward VI, and he was Henry VIII's greatest nightmare in miniature. The year was 1537. King Henry VIII, having destroyed his first 2 marriages in pursuit of a male heir, finally had what he craved, a son. Prince Edward, born to Jane Seymour, Henry's 3rd wife, was hailed as England's salvation. But the cost? Jane died just 12 days later. The newborn Edward was left motherless, fragile, and adored by a father now twice as paranoid and twice as cruel. From the very beginning, Edward wasn't treated as a child. He was treated as a miracle, a divine answer to decades of dynastic chaos, a living prophecy in a gilded crib. He grew up surrounded by guards, theologians, and scholars, but no children. There were no games, no play, just indoctrination. By age 6, Edward was learning Latin, Greek, and, most dangerously, Protestant theology from men who didn't just oppose Catholicism, they wanted to eradicate it. His primary tutor, John Cheek, was a brilliant man and a radical. He taught Edward that kings ruled not by law, but by divine right, that Catholics were not fellow Christians, but enemies of God. By age 8, Edward could recite complex arguments on why heretics deserved death. By 9, he believed mercy was weakness. And when he ascended the throne later that year, he wasn't a boy, he was a weapon. Edward's coronation in 1547 was supposed to signal a peaceful future. Instead, it marked the beginning of a silent purge. At first, his regency council, led by his uncle Edward Seymour, ruled in his name. But it didn't take long for the boy king to show his true nature. He interrupted court meetings to lecture bishops on theology. He reviewed execution orders personally. And most disturbingly, he smiled while signing death warrants. Witnesses described his glee in debating punishments. He would write scriptural justifications for every execution, then watch the condemned suffer, as if studying a school experiment. He was 9 years old. Edward had no interest in play. He filled his journals with notes on the Spanish Inquisition, complete with drawings of torture methods, annotated for efficiency. He once had a kitchen maid flogged for whispering a Catholic prayer, and noted in his journal that the correction proved effective in removing further error. When a servant spilled wine, Edward ordered the boy to be tied in the courtyard and had rotten food thrown at him for hours. He watched and took notes, the way another boy might observe ants under a magnifying glass. He wasn't born evil. He was raised to be merciless and praised every time he obeyed. If stories like this chill your soul, subscribe, because history doesn't just repeat itself. It starts young. Edward VI was not just a ruler. He was a zealot with a throne. He banned Catholic worship. He rewrote church doctrine. and he created a network of religious informants. Neighbors spying on neighbors, children reporting on parents. His court became a place where paranoia meant survival. Mercy was treason, and prayer was either state-approved or punishable by death. He personally increased punishments, often overriding his own advisors, demanding harsher penalties for lukewarm faith. Even the Spanish Inquisition looked moderate by comparison. His sisters, Mary and Elizabeth, had grown up under their father's fury. But Edward, he was adored, and it twisted him. He didn't see them as siblings. He saw them as political threats. He called Mary the bastard, Christ's enemy, and obsessed over ways to declare her illegitimate, imprison her, or even burn her alive. For Elizabeth, he had cold affection. She was Protestant, but only useful so far as her marriage could serve his agenda. He never mentioned love, only strategy. By 1553, Edward began to waste away, possibly from tuberculosis, worsened by arsenic poisoning from his own physicians. As his skin rotted, his mind sharpened. He knew he was dying, and he refused to let Mary undo his holy work. In his final months, he held secret meetings with fanatics, zealots, Protestants more extreme than himself. Together they drafted a plan. Bypass both Mary and Elizabeth. Crown Lady Jane Grey, a Protestant cousin, the Catholic nobility. Burn the heretics. Install a religious police state to watch every prayer, every whisper. Edward's final days were not about peace. They were about genocide. But divine justice came from within. Edward's body turned against him. His skin turned green. His hair and nails fell out. He suffered violent seizures, screaming for hours about Catholic demons and the blood of saints. He spent his last nights delirious and raving, clutching lists of people to be executed, asking his advisors to carry on without him. His last words, not "I love you," not "forgive me." Let none show mercy to Mary. She is death. And then he died. The world mourned. But inside his own palace, there was relief. The boy king, the one raised to save England, had almost destroyed it. His plans for a total Protestant theocracy collapsed within days. Even Protestants sided with Mary, because anything was better than what Edward had planned. In the end, he wasn't just a sick boy who died too young. He was a mirror, showing us what happens when power, ideology, and isolation meet inside the mind of a child. You stayed until the end, maybe because you felt what it means to be powerless in the face of someone who believes they are divinely right. Subscribe if you're ready to face history's darkest truths, even when they come in the form of a child.